Okay, now this is interesting because I thought this was stupid. I thought it was a waste of time. I mentioned I'm on the Conflict of Interest Subcommittee of the Japan Medical Association. And they asked me to find out the international situation about conflicts of interest. So I didn't know what to do, and societies didn't respond. So I decided to write to about 30 of quite well-known clinicians throughout the world that I knew. And I sent them a questionnaire, and I thought everybody will answer the same way. Conflict of interest is conflict of interest. So, but they told me to do it, so I did it, okay? But the results were very surprising. Okay, so we had 30 clinical leaders, 18 responded from 12 countries: Australia, Argentina, Canada, England, Holland, US practitioner in Japan, Nepal, Philippines, Scotland, Spain, and USA. China, Belgium, and Korea did not respond. But another thing is most responders did not answer all questions, which indicates that they're not sure. They're trying to help, but they don't know how to. Okay, what's the further direction for COI in your country? Will become stricter. No, I agree with that. 5 will become more important. But in South America and Nepal and also India, there's almost no disclosure of COI. So very different from Europe or US. Now, how about the COI education at present? Is it sufficient? Only two people said that COI education was enough. So I think, as I said yesterday, it's going to get stricter, and you're going to have more knowledge about exactly what constitutes conflict of interest. Almost all said not enough. Education, unknown, so same, and no education in COI education, 2 people. Now, how about officials of societies, editorial board, the committee on future development, or membership committee, or in other words, the officials, elected officials and general members of societies? Okay, well, first of all, concerning COI education societies, do you think the sufficiency of education is sufficient among official members? Insufficient, 9. Only 4 said sufficient. Insufficient among general members, 7. Sufficient, 2. Unknown, 2. So probably 9 and 9. So you're seeing that there's a lot of people are saying that the COI education is not enough. Okay, and how does your society go about teaching its members about self-disclosure? 1 had a website. 4 said they did an educational group, maybe a COI committee of the society. Not sure. 3 had guidelines. Medical school training, 1. I even doubt that, because even if there is COI training in medical school, most medical students don't realize the actual situation. No education, 3. Instructions and mandatory electronic step on manuscript submission. In other words, you have to go through an electronic step that shows you know what COI is before your manuscript will be processed. I think this is the journal Respirology. I'm not 100% sure. how to ensure, how do we make sure that people are self-disclosing properly? Well, there's an officers or members committee in 4 societies. It's based on an honor system. Well, that means you're just expecting the authors to do the proper thing. It's not enough. Education, not sure, there's no process. So there is no really definite, well-defined system of teaching self-disclosure. And I asked them, what is the most difficult aspect of COI management? One is honesty. Relationship with the pharma companies are usually not disclosed, even when relevant. One said the management of intellectual COI is difficult. Maintaining the integrity of the data or validation disclosure or disclosure validation, lack of awareness, don't know. So we need to have a clear, widely spread policy and culture. Now, concerning this one, relationship with the pharmaceutical companies are usually not disclosed. Now, I asked a Filipina doctor, very well-known doctor, would you disclose that you are a consultant for the ABC pharmaceutical company? And she said, no, I would not, never. I was surprised. I said, why? She said, because my children would be kidnapped. Okay. But really, I mean, to her, if she said that she was consultant to pharmaceutical company 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, people would look at the journals, oh, she must be rich. Grab her children, make some money. Maybe I make more money than lecturing. And selection of ethics committee appointed by the dean. So in other words, no qualification. Society nomination, again, usually there's no degree of showing your qualification. Only qualified vetted for COI and from various fields, 4. Don't know. Executive committee is sort of the same as this. No ethics committee. So very few are actually qualified or vetted for COI. So we're seeing a very wide range of definitions. For how long before is disclosure necessary? The ICMJE, as I said yesterday, 3 years. Most, including Japan, are 2 years. My personal preference is lifelong. Some say last 2 years. And there should be a yearly update, but don't know or no disclosure was in 6. Anticipated future development, not much change, only 2. Stricter 3, don't know 3. And follow the USA 1. Increasing transparency. But I think there's 3, 1, 1, 1, and 1. These show a tendency towards stricter development. Should it be required for members or officers to make tax returns available to societies? Yes, to this was Scandinavia and Britain. No other countries. Only in suspicious cases. Tax returns are very private, and in some countries, tax return disclosures are not safe. Again, the kidnapping issue. More importantly, disclosure conflicts of interest hinge on trust in your members. Everything must start from a platform of trust. I don't know about in Korea, but in certain countries, you can demand the tax returns after a certain number of years of individuals. Now, the conclusions are, well, first of all, these responders, they were not beginning physicians. They were very well known in their respective fields. Internal medicine, surgery, publishing, OBGYN, psychiatry. and the average age was 50 or above. But even so, there was a huge difference in understanding concerning COI, with many showing a lack of understanding of the issues or the questions. So a lot will change. The fact that only 50% of these normally responsive individuals, these are people who normally, if I send an email to, they'll get back to me in one day. And the fact that about half of them didn't implies that they were really scratching their heads and wondering. Most said COI will become stricter, and that COI education is not sufficient, and that the system depends on individual honesty, but they were confused about COI. So any questions about this? Because many people just say they don't know exactly what the situation is. So I feel that a single international symbol code created by health professionals, but understandable by average educated people, and there should be a web-based detailed archive of specific questions and answers to make it easy for people who have questions to find out themselves.